Hey there, I'm Grace.
And I'm Amelia.
And welcome to the Women Invest in Real Estate podcast, where we talk about getting started in real estate, scaling, and we give you the inside scoop about our day-to-days as full-time investors.
Hey there, are you looking for those deep, real-life, in-person connections with fellow female investors and business owners? We're so excited to announce our next WIIRE retreat, March 2nd through 5th in Salt Lake City, Utah. Our retreats are the highlight of our year. They're an intensive weekend spent talking all about big goals, strategizing, masterminding, and fun. Registration is now open on our website, and this will sell out quickly, so be sure to reserve your spot now. Visit womeninvestinrealestate.com/SLC to sign up.
We are back with episode 21, and today we have our friend Kat with us, who we just spent the weekend with at our WIIRE retreat. So we're super excited to hear all about hiring virtual assistants from her.
Yeah, this is going to be a great episode. Kat had so much to share at the WIIRE retreat. She was amazing, super funny in person, which I love getting to know people. Yeah, I love getting to know people in person because it's like a totally different aspect than online. And she was so kind at the retreat, and she shared about how she hires VAs and that whole process. And we thought, let's bring her onto the podcast because we know this is a huge topic and a lot of people in real estate want to hire out some of their tasks for a VA. So she is going to walk us through how to hire one from start to finish. But before we get into that, Kat, welcome. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, girls. I just got to say that you both are taller in person than in social media. So
that's so funny.
My name is Kat, and I am a business coach. That's where I make my money. And I'm really good at technology. It's one of my claims to fame. And I can figure out processes. And I also have a W-2. And I'm also into real estate investing. So I have a lot of balls to juggle in a limited amount of time. And I realized that I wanted to do all those things, but I am only one person. And that's where I started hiring VAs.
Okay, but you also you again glazed over the fact that you have written like 20 books.
I kind of forget, like I know the life. Yes, I have written a whole bunch of books for myself and a whole bunch of books for other people that I cannot talk about because it was as a ghostwriter. And all those things, like all the things that I have done. I used to be a personal stylist. I've been in purchasing for the longest time, and now doing real estate investing and doing my business as a coach and helping people monetize the expertise. All those things, believe it or not, come together and allow me to be a well-rounded coach and hopefully a resource for a lot of people.
You're a woman of many talents, which is why you need VAs. So why don't you tell us about when was the first time you hired a VA and how did you make that decision?
Yeah, so I remember the first time, it was years ago, and I didn't do it right, which is why I do it so well now. I hired a VA because before I quit my job the first time, and I wanted to be in social media. And I know that I had a very demanding job and I couldn't be posting, I couldn't be doing all the things during my work hours. So I found someone in India. That's where I have had the most fun with people just because of the work ethic. They don't mind working when you're sleeping, which is my favorite, because when I will wake up, oh my stuff was done, and then I could give them feedback and then they can fix it. I just love getting my stuff done. That's just me. Like, give it to me quick. And I hired him and he was great, but I was not managing him. And that happens to a lot of entrepreneurs. So he got paid every week, and I cannot tell you what did he do some of those weeks. Like I was giving him tasks that I was not reviewing. And I'm pretty sure that after a few weeks, since he noticed that I was not checking, that those tasks were not getting done. And also I was not getting my money's worth because I was not using that information. So I asked him, it was almost like busy work, but I gave him like a good 20 hours a week. And that really allowed me to be on social media. So I was able to like be consistent, which, as you know, in social media, it's very, very important. So he was doing all kinds of things for me. But if I could do it again, which I do now, I manage my people so much better.
Yeah.
So where did you find that VA? And are you still looking for VAs on that platform, or where do you look for them now?
That's a good question. So I found him in Upwork, upwork.com. It is the premier platform. I recommend that to every single person because I have tried so many different ones. I've tried ones that are specific just for VAs, and I have hired companies that will supposedly train your VA, which they cannot train them on you. Well, you are your own person and the way you work and the hours and the kind of work that you do. So I recommend, even if they come trained, they have to learn your way. So Upwork is what I started, where I went back and still there. That's what I find all of my VAs, because they tend to, I love the fact that they track the hours. You can see them when they're actually working. That gets recorded. They pay them. And if I don't like the work, they don't get paid, at least until they fix it. So that is a really good process until I feel comfortable enough that I can take them off the app.
Okay, so if somebody is thinking, okay, I want to hire a VA in my real estate business or whatever business it is that they have, what is the first step?
So very important. So I want to find out, start with information. What do you need? So for example, for me, back in February, I started the REI Friends podcast. And at first, I didn't mind so much the posting, the coming up with the description, the uploading the episode. And then Spotify came up with video. So then I had to post 2 episodes, one of the video and one of the audio, and 2 descriptions. And it was just like, I was hating it. I was hating that part of the podcast. So I started with, what things do I not want to do? And that's important. So in your business, and maybe you do want to do it, but you don't have the time. So making a list of, these are the things that I want. And it can be as simple as, I need a VA for a realtor. So you can go to Upwork and you can type realtor VA. You can type real estate investor VA. And that's actually like a category. A whole bunch
that
of
blew
people
my mind.
pop up. Yeah. So there's a screenshot. I recorded a video and people were taking pictures of a lady that I found. And she was, I think, in India or the Philippines. And everybody's like, oh my God, I want that girl. Because I typed that and she came up and she did so many things. She did cold calling. She did prospecting, updating your website, emailing people, like all the appointment setters, so many things that I think maybe she was a team. But you can start with, what are the things that you want to do? Maybe you still have a job and you want to be prospecting while you're working, or maybe you have kids and you cannot be prospecting at 6 a.m. because kids are screaming in the background. So it's looking at, how can you multiply yourself and still have quality of work and quality of life?
Yeah. Also, P.S., add the REI Friends podcast to the long list of things that you do. So if you heard that, go check that out on Spotify or Apple Music. It's a great podcast. And Amelia and I both had the opportunity to be on it.
Yes. Kat is a great interviewer. And so the episodes are really good. And check out Grace and I's episodes. I think they were both actually great because of Kat. She asks really good questions. Definitely check that out. So you mentioned that this VA specifically, I remember you showing us at the retreat, she was a real estate investing VA. Would you say then that it's better to get a VA who will like do it all? Or do you think you should get a VA that specializes in one thing and then a VA that specializes in something else? What are your thoughts on that?
That's such a great question. And I think for me, what has worked, I hire a VA for one specific thing. I don't give them all the things. Just like a Grace show that I forgot to mention a couple of things that I do. Sometimes we don't remember all the things that we do. And it's a matter of being at the right place at the right time. So my VA, I only hired to manage my social media. And when I was starting to get burned out managing my podcast, and thank you so much for the feedback, I do love interviewing. That's like my jam. That's what I shine. The other stuff, not so much. And I'm not needed there because my work should end at the interview. But she was managing my social media. And then I'm like, hey, do you know this platform? And she's so good. She's like, I don't, but I can learn. And that was huge. I got her a video. She's like, oh, I could do that. And I'm like, oh, can you post? So I started very small, right? So she's already managing my social media. And I'm like, well, can you post the episode? And I was giving her all the things. I was giving her you know how when you guys were in the show, I asked you for the picture. I asked you for your bio. So I would put all that together. Now, if I'm going to do all of that, I might as well just upload it, right?
Right.
So I started with baiting her. So I'm like, here are all the things, please post it. And that was great. So I would recommend that you get them with the things that are easy. See if you guys work well together, and then add or ask them if they can do it before you give them more stuff.
Okay.
Well, one thing we haven't covered, and I think this will blow people's minds because these VAs are so versatile, is how much are you paying per hour for this VA?
Oh my God, this is the funny part. And I don't feel bad about this because I'm changing her life. So this VA right now, I pay her $5 an hour. And it's not just one task. She does so much for me. And that's changing her life based on the country that she's at. So I don't feel bad about it. I do give her bonuses. I'm very flexible. One thing that I have done that I recommend everyone do, because these are people that I want my VAs to be with me for a long time. So when I was traveling, I think I got sick a couple of times. My daughter was really sick for a few months actually. So I was not able to give her many tasks. I pay her the same amount regardless. And I just asked her to keep track of the hours that I was underutilizing and that later we would use them, because I did not want her quality of life to suffer because I was not giving her work, because I made a commitment to her. Now she would have understood, she would have gotten somebody else, and I would risk losing her, right? So I chose to keep her salary every week. She gets paid every Friday. And that way she would be okay. And I knew that I felt better paying her, even though I was not giving her all the work, you know?
So she's only working for you then?
She's not only working for me, but you better believe that I get priority. When this whole thing happened with my Instagram account, she was sick, like upset about the whole thing. And I'm like, it's not her fault. She didn't do anything wrong. She was like praying for my Instagram account because I treat her nicely. Like I like for Christmas, I would give her a bonus, right? So always understanding. Sometimes in these countries, they don't have power. I never give her a hard time when it happens because it happens, you know? So I'm treating her the way I wish someone would treat me. And that goes a long way. She has other people, but I noticed that my staff takes priority.
Oh, that's awesome. And side note, she was referencing the Instagram debacle. Kat got locked out of her Instagram for some reason. So that's what we were chatting about that before the show. But how do you communicate? Do you communicate via Upwork or do you take that offline?
Another great question. So Upwork, I use like I'm dating them. I'm vetting how they work, how they're doing, how they're showing up, how they communicate. Upwork pays them 1 week behind, which I don't like. Again, we're not paying that much, and these people are in third world countries. I believe they need to get paid right away. But at the very beginning, and I will stay there depending on the person. I just fired my YouTube SEO person. I always kept him here, kept him at the app. I did not mind that he got paid 1 week behind. He was kind of spotty. He did the work, but he never like grew on me. So I kept him on the app and I communicated with him on the app. So it all depends on the relationship. So you can text there, you can send files, you cannot do audio messages, which I do like a lot, but you can send any file you want to, and you can go back and forth at any time, and the history stay within the chat of that person, which is great because it becomes searchable, right? But on the VAs that are good, and I do want them to get paid fast, and also Upwork charges them. And we're paying so little, I really feel bad that they're losing like 50 cents an hour or something. So once I know that I'm happy with them and that they are trustworthy, meaning that they are working the hours that they say they're going to do, before I say that, I just want to say you need to know how long the task that you're giving them is going to take. A lot of people might take you for a trip and be like, oh, that's going to take 3 hours. So you need to know if the task that you're giving them is going to be 5 minutes, 2 hours, whatever it is. So then you know how much work you're giving them. So let's say I had this person for a while. They are doing an amazing job. I really want to work with them. Then I take them off the app. I take them either to Instagram or I take them to WhatsApp. Either one will work great. The only issue with WhatsApp, which we learned the hard way, is that if they're sending you videos or pictures, WhatsApp for some reason lowers the quality of those assets.
Okay.
So the solution to that, and I'm giving you guys all the tea just because you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
The solution to that is going to Telegram, because Telegram keeps all the quality. And it's the best because you can do audio as well and video.
Is that just another app that's similar to WhatsApp, but different?
Telegram is like the hotter, younger version.
I love WhatsApp.
Of WhatsApp. It's so much better. I love it. The only thing is that it's a social media app, but it's not tied to like a Facebook or Instagram. It's standalone, but it is, I love it. I love it so much. And it's free.
Gotcha. So you mentioned that you had to fire one of your VAs, which I think is really interesting. And that was on our list to ask you about. So why did you make that decision? And then how does it look like to fire somebody? Are you just like, okay, bye, like it's not working out, or what does that look like?
Right. That's such a great question. It really all depends, right? Because for my VA, she's the one that does my social media. She's been with me now for a year and 2 months, not that anybody's counting. And it took us a good 11 months to find a rhythm for her to learn my voice, because I write in a very specific way. I like things in a very specific way, but she was doing the work. She was showing up. She will redo things. She was so willing. Her attitude was right. So when you're having a VA that's going to be almost full time for you, or someone that's doing really great work for you, I would say stick it out. And that it can be anybody that's trained. Again, they're learning you. So you got to give them, and sometimes English is not most of the time, English is not the first language. So some things get lost in translation. Mm-hmm. So I would say it's going to take you a minute. Do not quit on people right away. This guy, I worked with him for about 6 months, and he would disappear from time to time. And then he was doing something that really pissed me off, and that's why he got fired. So every time I did a video, I would say, I email him the link of a video, say, here's the video. Watch it, do the SEO. That's all I want. And then tell me when you're done. So sometimes he would do it quickly, other times he wouldn't. And I could tell he was not watching the video because the SEO work was not great. And on top of that, he would redo the SEO when he wanted to get more hours, which is BS. And he did this quite a lot. And I was busy and I was kind of losing track sometimes. But when I caught on, I'm like, this little dude, like I was really
this guy.
Because it was not the money, it was the abuse. Like, dude, you have a very easy job. And my videos are like exciting. They're not very long. You're learning something. So I told him a couple times, I say, do not redo this. If you just did it a month ago, why do you have to redo the SEO work anyway? And he kept doing it. And I said, okay, we don't have any videos for a while. And he just had redone a video. So what I had to do was I had to go and close the contract so he could not add more manual hours. And because he was the way he was, no explanation. I'm just like, we don't have any videos right now. We're good. And he's like, fine, because he did not know that I shut down the contract when he goes to add, try to add more hours to that.
So what would you say? I think for me, my biggest struggle is I want to hire a VA for a few different things. One of them is social media. But when you talk about the management, I'm like, how do I keep myself accountable to keep them accountable? How do you juggle managing a person?
Yeah, so that is, you're paying them. So for me, I am really something about my money. I don't play with my money. I don't play with my money, my food, or my sleep. Just don't play with any of that.
Me either. We're very similar.
Right. Like I don't, like some people be like, if I go to a place, they want to give me some little food. I'm like, no, don't look at me. Give me like real food. Like just feed me. Just don't mess with that. So what I do is every morning, every day, even when I was working for myself, which I did for 6 years, working from home, I take a shower every single day. I put makeup every single day and clothes every single day and perfume, even though I was working by myself. I was the only one smelling me, right? So now I'm back in corporate and I obviously have to do that, but I keep that work ethic. So every day, no matter what, she's getting pictures of me. So my phone looks like I am totally in love with myself, which I am, because they
I
are
love that for you.
thousands.
You should be.
Thank you. We all should be. I had to learn to like be happy and appreciate who I am. So there are like thousands of pictures of me, because every day I send her 2 or 3 pictures of me standing, posing, by the way, and then 2 or 3 pictures of me close up, and then I send her a reel every single day. Before I leave the house, she gets that every single day. And some days, the beauty of that is we have been communicating for a long time. I do many silly videos, and some days I'm not feeling it. I got up late and all I had time was to take a shower and send her a picture, and I didn't have time to record. Like today, I have the best reel ever, and all I said to her was, here are the pictures of today. Here is the title. I want a reel of me dancing. And there are many clips. She's got many clips of me attempting to dance. So the reel, it came out amazing. Like, and that's all I did. I did not record anything today, but we have content. So showing up every day, Monday through Friday, I'm going to be consistent. I don't have to do anything Saturday or Sunday. If I want to, I do. But I draw the line at every single day. People are going to hear from me. So that's my accountability. I'm paying her, and she cannot work if I don't send her stuff most of the time. So I would say sometimes you can batch work. That works as well. So if you want to shoot 5 videos and be like, hey, chop this up into reels or edit this, it's a matter of understanding that you're working for yourself, which sometimes is hard for people, and somebody is literally waiting. So sometimes if I'm late, she'll be like, good morning, Kat. I know what that means. Like, where's my stuff?
I love
Yeah.
that. Have you guys ever had a video call or is it all like through text or email?
No email. I am really funny. Like, I know she has a kid only because of social media. I know, like, my friends are really funny. They want to know where they live, how's like their grandmother. I am all about the work. Like, you're doing your work, I'm doing my work, we're good. So no video, everything is texting. Sometimes is if I'm driving, it's an audio like a voice memo, and that's it. Oh, and we leverage Google Drive. I live in Google Drive. It's my favorite,
hmm
and we have folders where everything is detailed.
So when it comes to keeping track of her tasks, do you have like a list somewhere or like a checklist, or do you just kind of keep track via text and mentally?
The beauty of the task for me is that they either get done or they don't get done. And I will know, right? So, for example, right now, I'll give you my formula. Right now, I post a reel every single day. And she posts that reel to my stories. She posts a reel on my personal Facebook page, on my business Facebook page. And she's posting one of my old reels on YouTube as a short because I have like 365 days worth of reels that can easily go to YouTube. So she's posting that. So every day, she'll send me the cover of the reel for me to review. She'll send me the reel that she edited that day. By the way, all this gets done the same day. And if she doesn't send me that, it didn't get done, right? So we are at a point where we are friendly, but I'm still the boss. So I don't cross
hmm
that line. So she knows she has to produce. And on Fridays, even though I know she's gonna do the work, I don't send that PayPal payment until she's done that task, until I get my reel, right? She's still doing all the tasks on Fridays, but she now knows that money incoming if I don't send the first task. So it's a matter of don't give them busy work that you're not gonna check because they're gonna notice real quick. But the tasks that you're giving them, some of them are daily and others are weekly. They have to get done, and it's as simple as that. And if they don't get done, I need an explanation. It doesn't have to
hmm
be like a huge one, but I need to know what's happening.
hmm
Such good advice. I'm like, okay, what can I hire out in my life for a VA to do for me? Like, I'm just like running through my head right now. Like, okay, I'm outsourcing from here on out.
Yeah, you have to, especially if you're prospecting. Like for you guys getting deals right in your state. You can so get them to go and find expired listings. You can find them listings that have been in the MLS for more than 90 days. If you have a Facebook page, they can be doing your DMs. Right. So
hmm
I heard Jen is so good. I was interviewing Jen and Joe last night, De La Fave, and they were asked them, oh, how can people contact you? She's like, oh, we're there at 24. She says someone will be there at 24 hours a day. And I'm like, oh my God, that is so good. So they have different VAs and they
hmm
are in the DMs, and that's how they get their deals. So just think of, you guys want to have a quality of life, right? You guys want to travel, be with your family. So what things you are able to do, but you should not be doing based on how much money you make an hour based on the skills and the things that you guys do. That's like the biggest thing. If you want to have quality of life, you want to take the things that take the most time that someone can easily take off, and you're going to pay them a fraction of what you're worth.
I got it. I've already got like my first task going in my head of what I'm gonna do. So I'm super excited.
That's
Yeah.
so good. One thing, I don't know if you guys this question came up a lot during the retreat while I was doing this session. A lot of people were really worried that they did not have full-time work for these VAs. And they're like, I only have one simple task. I don't want to like waste their time. And I'm like, no. These people are used to working with many clients, and they know that sometimes it's going to be a lot of tasks, and sometimes you're going to get a client and you do one little thing for them. Especially for me, my sweet spot is asking them to do a paid task. Lots of people do it and say do it for free, but again, I really want to build goodwill with these people. I really want to build long-term relationships. So I'm like, I'm going to give you a paid task of 1 hour of your time. This is the task, and I'm very detailed, and this is when I want it. And that will tell me everything. Are they reading what I said? Are they going to do it when I tell them to do it? Can they follow direction? Are they available when they say they were going to be available? So you can start very small until you can see what they can do. And most of the time, they might not post under their profile that they have done that task, but if you ask them, most of them are willing to learn, and you can shoot a quick video of yourself doing the task, sending it, and giving them feedback, and now you free yourself to do other things or to do nothing, which is also great.
I love it. Any
Yeah.
other last tips that you would have for anyone looking to hire a VA?
I would say start now. Start before you need it. Start before you are like busting at the seams because you have no time. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of people want to do it when they're growing and they're really busy. It's the wrong time to do it. You want to do it way before, and always try different people. I don't just marry one. I found them, oh my God, I'm married to them. No, I give the same task to different people, and I will ask them, especially if you're going to hire someone for your social media, this is what I do. I give them my profile and I say, this is my handle. What will you do differently for my social media? And I have gotten some really good ideas and strategies because I just been like, sometimes we don't know what we don't know, right? And they might be working with a client that does something similar, and they'll tell you things that you would never even think of.
That's so smart. I'm going to steal that for sure. Okay, so last thing, if anybody wants to follow you, get a hold of you, where should they do that?
They can go to Cat Buys REI on Instagram. And if you're going to go to my website, it's manydoorsandprices.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for not only sharing at the retreat, but for being here, because I've definitely learned a ton. Hiring a VA is something I've been meaning to do for like ever. And now I feel like I have the knowledge and motivation to get it done.
I'm so glad. And I am always available. That's part of my other business where we help entrepreneurs. So if you got, and hit me up on Instagram, I'm always on my DMs. For now, it's me really. Just hit me up on the DMs and let me know if you have any questions. I'm always happy to help and offer any feedback.
Thank you again so much. Oh my God, Grace, we just interrupt each other 24/7 on here. So
only like twice.
Thank you so much for putting up with us, listeners. We are a mess, but no, thank you so much, Kat. We really liked having you on, and we will catch you in the next episode.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for tuning in. If you loved today's episode, please leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcasts. And don't forget to check us out and join our community at womeninvestinrealestate.com and follow us on Instagram at WIIRE with 2 eyes.community.